أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome everybody to the end of our first week, Friday's class. Jazakumullah for arriving on time. As you can see today, we will be having a slightly different format in which we will be sending some students to breakout rooms. And this is so that we can listen to as many students as possible the recitation that they've practiced during the week, and we can give them some more specific feedback. So we will start off with our opening dua and cover the rules of the week. Then we'll go to our breakout rooms and we will do some practice recitation. And then the plan is to come back to the main session and we will cover the letters of the week and assign the homework. Inshallah, inshallah. Okay, so if I may now have a student to the mic to recite the opening dua.
Yes, sure. Can we have G2121?
G2121, Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, how are you?
Wa alaikum assalam, darling. I'm very, very well. Jazakumullah for asking. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Alhamdulillah. Okay, sweetheart. So we are going to, if you just bear with me for a second, let me move this. Recite Friday's dua, okay? And it is this one here that I'm highlighting, okay? So if you can follow with me, all other students, please also follow with us. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Okay, okay. From here, darling. ربنا
ربنا
تقبل منا
تقبل منا.
Okay then, so slowly, okay? ربنا
ربنا
تقبل
تقبل
منا
منا
إنك
إنك
أنت السميع
أنت السميع
عليم.
عليم.
MashaAllah, very nice pronunciation on the ayn. Okay, sweetheart, the English translation, please.
Our Lord, accept from us, you are all hearing, all knowing.
And the reference at the end as well.
Al-Baqarah, verse 128.
MashaAllah. And do you know what Al-Baqarah is?
2.
It is indeed, yes. It's a chapter within the Holy Quran. And the name it's been assigned is Al-Baqarah. And it happens to be chapter 2 in the Holy Quran. And the 128, in this chapter, there are lots of verses. And 128, verse number 128, in this chapter within the Holy Quran is where you will find this dua. Okay, Jazakumullah sweetheart for your participation. Inshallah, we'll call you to the mic again another time. Allah Hafiz for now. Okay, so let's just have a quick recap of the rules that we covered this week and the ones that we want to practice on particularly with this particular reading that we've been doing this week. On Monday, oh, apologies, I've got the wrong one. Okay, on Monday, we did remind you that there are strokes known as short strokes, and they are known by name as fatha, which looks like this, a slanted stroke that sits on top of a letter. Kasra, which looks like this, a slanted stroke and it sits underneath a letter. And dhamma, which looks like this and it sits above a letter. When you see a letter that carries any short stroke, you read it and you spent just 1 second's worth of time on it. Only 1 second. So that was a rule that we focused on Monday. On Tuesday, we taught you that as well as the short strokes, we reminded you, as well as the short strokes, which require 1 second timing, there are other strokes, vertical strokes. Vertical fatha, which looks like this. It's a straight line, sits on top of a letter. A vertical kasra looks like this. A straight line sits underneath a letter. And a inverted dhamma, which sits like that on top of a letter. It's inverted because this dhamma has been flipped around and turned upside down. And another way of saying that is inverted. Okay, so an inverted dhamma, vertical kasra, and a vertical fatha. And the sound they make is exactly the same as the short stroke version, but it happens to be for 2 seconds. Okay, so wherefore, for example, with this and a fatha, you would say sa, sa, just for 1 second. Here, you would say sa, sa for 2 seconds. B, and then B, tu, and tu. The timing is what changes. The sound is actually the same. And then on Wednesdays and Thursdays class, we went over madud, which is elongation. And you will know, I'm certain, that there are 3 letters of mud. If you see those letters, then the timing of the sound that you make changes. There is what is known as an alif mud. Okay, if you see an alif, which has no sukoon on the top and no other stroke, it's just a blank alif, but the letter immediately before carries a fatha. The fatha and the fact that it's an alif without anything on top means that this is an alif mud. And that means that you need to stretch the sound for 2 seconds. So instead of saying ba, which is what you would normally say, the alif mud causes the whole sound to stretch out for 2 seconds. Ba. If you see a waw sakin here, this is a waw, it carries a sukoon on the top, then it's known as a waw sakin. If you see a waw sakin and straight before it is a dhamma, the dhamma and the waw sakin together mean that this is a waw madda. So the sound stays the same, but it gets stretched for 2 seconds. So where you would normally say here, tu, if there's a waw mud straight afterwards, you say tu, 2 seconds. And lastly, ya sakin. If you see a ya with a sukoon on top, and straight before it is a letter that carries a kasra, then the kasra and the ya sakin together cause this ya sakin to be known as a ya mud. And what that does is it stretches the sound out for a little bit longer. So instead of saying E, as you would do here, if there is a ya mud straight afterwards, you say E for 2 seconds. So that's what we introduce you to this week, timing of short strokes, long strokes, as well as madud. And we wanted you to really focus on and we wanted you to really focus on the timing of those in your practice. Okay, so if I can now let you know that all the breakout rooms have now been sorted out, and very, very shortly you will see on your screen, some of you, not all of you, as an invitation to join a breakout room. If you see that invitation, oh, okay, now bear with me for a second. Just bear with me for a second. Okay, so if I can ask the main teacher to share her screen.
Assalamu alaikum, yes. Okay, can you see the screen?
Yes. Okay, fantastic. Okay, so now what will happen is that some of you, we will see an invitation on your screen to say, please, you are being invited to a breakout room. Accept that invitation, please, yeah? And then you will go into a separate room where you will be in a smaller group, and a teacher will then listen to your recitation. Okay?
Yes, exactly. Okay, Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. So as the other teacher mentioned, now we are going to practice all the rules which we have covered over the week, and we are going to apply it to the practice of Surah An-Naba. So now I'd like to request ST to give me a student.
G2, G241.
G241.
Assalamualaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam rahmatullah. So G241, what is the full ID?
G2241.
Okay, Jazakillah. G2241. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm fine too. Jazakillah for asking. So let's start the practice, starting with Ta'awuz. A'udhu billah.
G2241.
Okay.
Mhm.
Can just Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's start our practice. Okay. We'll start with Ta'awuz. A'udhu billah.
A'udzu billahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Okay. So here you recited really beautifully. Okay. We have two examples of vertical fatha. Okay. So we need to prolong each of these for how long?
2 seconds.
That's right. Excellent. So let's try and prolong them for 2 seconds. Okay. Bismillah.
Bismillah.
Very good. Bismillah.
Rahim.
Very good. Okay, let's continue.
Amma yatasaalun annin ba'il azim.
Okay, very good. Jazakillah. So you recited really beautifully. Just be mindful. Okay. So in the first lesson, we learned about short strokes. Okay. And what did we learn? That we should not prolong them for more than 1 second. So in two places specifically, where the letter was a mushaddad letter, okay, because it was carrying the tashdid sign, you prolonged it for a bit longer. Okay, so we are going to try this again. Excellent. عن النبأ العظيم.
Azim.
Very good. Let's try this once more, okay?
Okay.
عن النبأ.
Naba.
Very good. Now that was correctly prolonged, okay, for 1 second only. That is the rule for short strokes. Okay. Jazakillah. G2241. Okay. Can we have the next student?
We have G2148.
G2148. Assalamu alaikum.
I will choose another student. We have G2153.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Is this G2153 or
This is
G2148?
48.
Okay. G2148. Assalamu alaikum. How are you today?
Good, how are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good too. Jazakallah for asking. Okay, so we are going to continue with the practice. Okay, let's start with Tawuz.
Okay.
Yes.
Allazi
Okay. Let's start with A'udhu Billah.
Okay. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim.
Okay.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Okay, so let's try A'udhu Billah again. Okay, we'll try it slowly. A'udhu
A'udhu
Billahi
billahi
Minash Shaitan
minash shaitanir
Rajim.
rajim.
Okay, very good. Now try Bismillah again.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Okay, so just try to prolong, okay, wherever you see vertical fatha, try to prolong for 2 seconds. Bismillah
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Rahman Rahim.
Rahim.
Very good, excellent. And do you know why we are prolonging here for 2 seconds?
Because there is a blank yeah.
Okay, you're on the right track. We have a ya sakin, okay? And when the previous letter is carrying the sign of kasra, we know that this is ya madda, ya of elongation. And the rule for that, which we covered on Wednesday and Thursday, is that it should be prolonged for 2 seconds as well. Very good. Okay, now let's practice from here.
Allazi hum fihi mukhtalafuna.
Okay, very good. I really love how you prolonged the ya madda here and here as well, okay, for 2 seconds. However, here you changed the stroke from kasra to fatha, okay? So would you like to try this word again?
Yes.
Okay,
Mukhtalifun.
excellent. And you also corrected another one of the errors which you made earlier. When we pause, it's going to be recited as mukhtalifun, okay, instead of
Okay.
mukhtalifuna. Okay, all right.
Okay.
Moving on, let's move to the next verse.
Kalla saya'lamun.
Excellent. So here we have a, what is this an example of?
A wow
Both of these.
sakin. A wow
That's
sakin.
right. They are vaws. They are vaw sakin, but we have to see what the previous letter is carrying, and it is carrying a dhamma. So we know that this is vaw madda. Okay, vaw of elongation, and that's why we are prolonging here for 2 seconds. Sayalamun.
Ya'lamun.
Okay, let's try the whole word. It starts with seen. Sayalamun.
Saya'lamun.
Excellent. Jazakallah. And here we also have an example of alif madda. Can you identify it?
Kalla.
Excellent. It's here. And how do we know that? We know it because the previous letter is carrying the stroke of fatha. Excellent. Jazakallah, G2148. Okay, can we have another student?
G2 211, please.
G2221.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. How are you today?
Alhamdulillah, I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. Jazakillah for asking. Okay, so let's start with A'udhu Billah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Okay, very good. Just remember to prolong the vertical fatha wherever you see this fatha shbaya. Just prolong it for a bit longer. Okay, making it 2 seconds. So let's try the Bismillah again.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Excellent, well done. Okay, let's start from here.
ثم كلا سيعلمون.
Okay, very good. So I can see that you were trying to make a nasal sound here. Okay, so we have to, let's try this again. Thumma.
ثم.
Excellent. And here we have an example of alif madda. Do you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, can you identify it? Can you tell me?
After the kaf.
Very good. It's after this kaf, but it's also after this lam. Okay, the lam which is carrying the sign of fatha. Okay, so we are going to pronounce this as kalla.
كلا.
Excellent. Sayalamun.
سيعلمون.
Very good. And we are prolonging here because of the vaw of elongation. Okay, also known as vaw madda. Okay, let's do the next verse.
ألم نجعل الأرض مهادا.
Okay, very good. So let's try this once again. Okay, this time make sure to prolong the ha for 2 seconds because of the fatha shmaya. Okay, the long stretch of fatha. And okay, you can this time you can repeat after me. Alam naj'al.
ألم نجعل
نجعل الأرض
الأرض
مهادا.
مهادا.
Okay, let's prolong this for 2 seconds as well, okay? Because when we pause, the correct way to pause would be to prolong this for 2 seconds at the end. Mihada.
مهادا.
Okay, much better. Jazakillah, G2221. Okay, we can have the next student now.
G2 174.
Assalamu alaikum.
G2 174. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good. Okay, let's start with Tawbuz.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Okay, everything was nicely recited. Just one thing in A'udhu Billah. Okay, the last word, Ar-Rajim. Make sure that you prolong it for 2 seconds because just like this word, okay, it also has a Ya madda. Okay, let's try it again. A'udhu.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Excellent. Let's continue from here.
والخبا والجبال أوتادا.
Okay, very good. So here we have an example of Alif Madda. Can you point it out?
Is it ba?
Very good, that's right. Okay, and we know that because the letter Ba is carrying the stroke of Fatha. So we need to prolong this for 2 seconds. Wal-jibala.
والجبال.
Yes,
والجبال أوتادا.
okay. And this word, again, we have an Alif Madda here. Okay, the correct way to pause, we haven't learned it yet, but we also need to prolong this for 2 seconds. Okay, and we need to softly prolong this for 2 seconds. This will be covered in future lessons, inshallah. Okay, for now, let's just practice. أوتادا.
أوتادا.
Very good. Okay, moving on.
وخلقناكم أزواجا.
Very good. So this one, this time you prolonged both of these for 2 seconds nicely. Okay, the first word, let's try this again. وخلقناكم.
وخلقناكم أزواجا.
Very good. Okay, let's move on to the next one.
وجعلنا نومكم سباتا.
Very good. Again, you recited really well. Okay, this word, we need to softly prolong this for 2 seconds. Okay, so let's try it again. وَجَعَلْنَا نَوْمَكُمْ.
وجعلنا نومكم سباتا.
Excellent. Well done. Okay, moving on.
وجعلنا الليل لباسا.
Very good. وَجَعَلْنَا اللَّيْلَ.
وجعلنا الليل لباسا.
Okay, I don't know what you did there. The first time round, you pronounced it correctly. Can you try it again?
وجعلنا الليل لباسا.
Okay. Let's try the whole thing again. Okay, this time try with me. وَجَعَلْنَا اللَّيْلَ.
وجعلنا الليل
لِبَاسًا.
لباسا.
Okay. Don't confuse the seen, this letter seen, with the letter sa. Okay. Letter sa has a hissing sound. Seen does not. Okay. Seen has a very thin sound. Okay. Jazakillah, G2174, you recited really well.
Jazakallah, Khuda Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz. Okay, can we have the next student?
G2165.
G2165, Assalamu alaikum. G2165.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. How are you?
I'm good.
Alhamdulillah. Okay, let's start with A'udhu Billah.
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim.
Okay, very good.
وجعلنا النهار معاشا.
Very good. You recited really well. Okay. Let's just try it once with me. وَجَعَلْنَا النَّهَارَ
وجعلنا النهار وجعلنا النهار معاشا.
Very good. The sound of Ain was much better here. Okay, moving on.
وبنينا فوقكم سبعا شدادا.
Very good. Excellent. So I highlighted this because you didn't differentiate at first, but then you corrected yourself. So well done. Okay. So this qaf, just to remind all the students, is the thick one. Okay, one of 7 thick letters, and the next one is thin one. So we will cover this in future lessons as well, inshallah. G2165. In the first word, we have an example of huruf al-mad. Okay, letter of elongation. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, can you point it out?
Yeah.
Okay, so that was close. Okay, but it's not ya. Because for ya, sakin, there is a rule that the previous letter must have the sign of kasra. Okay, but in our case, in this case, the previous letter is carrying fatha. So this is not ya madda. Okay. This is the example of the madda in the first letter. Alif madda. Because previous letter is carrying the sign of fatha. Okay. However, you did really well. Okay. To prolong here for 2 seconds is the right thing to do, but I won't go into detail. Okay, because it will be covered in the future lessons. Okay.
Okay.
And in the last word, we also have an example. Can you see that one?
Yes.
Okay,
It's
where is
a
it?
leaf mud.
That's right. And it is, how do we know that this is alif mad?
Because there's a code and on the letter before there's a fatha.
Excellent. That's absolutely right. Okay, moving on to the next verse.
وجعلنا سراجا وهاجا.
Okay, very good. So this is a bit tricky because we have 2 letters, one after another, and both of them are carrying the sign of tashdid. Okay, so 2 mushaddad letters, 2 consecutive mushaddad letters. So it could be a bit tricky, a bit hard. Okay, but let's try this. سراجا وهاجا.
سراجا وهاجا.
Excellent, much better. Okay, so Jazakallah, G2165, you recited really well.
Jazakallah.
Allah Hafiz. Okay, so now we can have the next student.
G2115.
G2115, Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamualaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, Jazakallah for asking. Okay, so let's start with Tawfuz.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وأنزلنا من المسرات ماء ثجاجا.
Okay, so first of all, remember what we learned about the short strokes, that we must not prolong them for more than 1 second. Okay, so the very first word starts with a short stroke of fatha. Okay, so let's try this again. وَأَنزَلْنَا.
وأنزلنا.
Okay, and we also have an example of alif mad here. Okay, previous letter is carrying fatha. So let's try to prolong this for 2 seconds as well. وَأَنزَلْنَا.
وأنزلنا.
Very good. مِنَ الْمُعْصِرَاتِ.
من المسرات.
Okay, let's try this once more. مِنَ الْمُعْصِرَاتِ.
من المسرات.
Okay, very good effort. Again, inshallah, with practice, it will get better. Make sure that the sound of ain can be heard clearly, okay, and the sound of sad. من المعصرات.
من المسرات.
Okay, much better. Okay, so we haven't covered this rule yet, but just remember that we need, whenever you see this sign, we need to prolong for 4 seconds at least. Okay, so let's try. ماء ثجاجا.
ماء ثجاجا.
Okay, and we have to prolong these two for 2 seconds. Okay, this is alif madda. Okay, and the reason why we are prolonging at the end for 2 seconds, because that's the right way to pause here, and it will be covered in future lessons, inshallah. Okay, let's try this once more. Sajjaja.
سجاجا.
Okay, much better. Next verse, let's continue.
لنخرج به حبا وتباتا.
Okay, let's try the whole verse once more.
لنخرج به حبا ونباتا.
Okay, all right. Okay, let's start with the first word. Okay, let's make sure that we are not prolonging the lam for more than 1 second. Okay, because we only have the short stroke of kasra. So this is going to be li. Okay, linukhrija.
لنخرج.
Very good. Then we have an example of kasra ishbaya. Okay, vertical kasra. Do you know the rule for ishbaya strokes? How long do we prolong them for?
2.
That's right. Excellent. 2 seconds. Okay. So let's try. Bihi.
به.
Very good. Now at the end, here is an alif madda. Okay. So we are going to prolong this for 2 seconds. And at the end as well. حبا ونباتا. Okay. So let's try this one last time. حبا ونباتا. Okay, much better. Jazakallah G2 115. Okay. Can we have the next student?
Would we have time for joint ID?
Yes. Yes.
G2 179 and G2 178.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum G2 178.
Walaikum salam.
How are you today?
I'm fine. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good as well. Jazakallah for asking. Okay. Let's start with A'udhu Billah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
Okay.
وجنات الفافا.
Very good. That was very nicely recited. So you prolonged the vertical fatha, okay, fatha ishbaiya for 2 seconds. And you also prolonged the alif madda for 2 seconds, okay? And you did not prolong the short stroke unnecessarily, okay? So that was very good. Let's move on to the next one.
إن يوم الفصل كان ميقاتا.
Excellent. Okay. So just one thing, the first word, okay, on top of noon we have tashdid. So we are going to stress on it, and we are also going to make nasal sound. In.
إن
Very good. يوم الفصل
يوم الفصل
كان
كان
ميقاتا.
ميقاتا.
Very good. Okay. And here in the last 2 words, we have 2 examples. 3 examples of mud letters. Okay. Letters of elongation. Can you identify them?
Yamad,
Very good. Excellent. And how do you know that this is Yamad?
because there is a kasra and there's a kasra on meme.
Very good. The previous letter, which is meme in this case, is carrying the stroke of kasra. That's right. And can you see the other 2 examples? It's the same letter.
Is there an alif mad?
That's right. And as I said, it's the same in both of these places. Okay. And we know that because the previous letter is carrying fatha. So that is why we prolonged this for 2 seconds. Okay, let's continue to the next verse.
Yawma yunfakhu fi suri fatatuna afyawaja.
Okay, very good. So you prolonged correctly, okay, in all the right places. But let's just try once more. Yawma yunfakhu.
Yawma yunfakhu
Very good. Fis-suri.
fis-suri
Fatatuna afwaja.
fatatuna
أفواجا.
Very good. So here we had an example of Ahmad, and here as well. And we know that because the previous letter is carrying the stroke of. Which stroke does it carry?
الضمة.
That's right, very good. So for Vaw, Madda, the previous letter always carries the stroke of Dhamma. Okay, and then at the end we have Alif Madda. So we prolonged all of these for 2 seconds. Okay, very good. Jazakillah, G2178. Is G2179 also there?
No, I'm G21789.
Okay, let me just check. Okay, so you're G2179. Are you here, G2179?
Should I choose another student?
I just need to confirm the ID. I don't know which student it was.
She was G2179.
Okay, G2179. Okay, and I think it was a double ID.
Yep, that was G2178.
Okay, let's try to unmute them again. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Okay, so G2179, you just had a go, right?
Yes.
Okay, and is your sibling G2178 there?
Yeah, she's in the other room. Should I call her?
Okay, no, you don't have to call her. I thought she was right there with you. So that's fine.
She's in another class right now.
Yes, that's fine. Let's not disturb her. Okay, Jazakillah. Okay, can we have another student?
G229.
G229.
Yep.
Assalamu alaikum, G229.
I'll choose another student.
Assalamu alaikum.
Okay, I think she's here. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. How are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Alhamdulillah. Jazakillah for asking. Okay, so let's start with Tawuz.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Yes, starting from here.
يوم ينفخ في الصور. يوم ينفخ في الصور فتأتون أفواجا.
Okay, very good. You just, I think, changed the stroke on top of kha. Let's try this once again. Yawma yunfakhu.
يوم ينفخ.
Okay. Yunfakhu.
ينفخ.
Okay. Fis-suri.
في الصور
فتأتون أفواجا.
فتأتون أفواجا.
Very good. Okay, on top of noon, don't prolong the short stroke of fatha for more than 1 second.
Okay.
فتأتون.
فتأتون.
Okay, very good. Let's continue with the next verse.
وفتحت السماء.
Okay.
وفتحت.
Yes.
وفتحت السماء فكانت أبوابا.
Okay, very good effort. So, the first word was right. Okay, you corrected your mistake. I think you pronounced the lam here slightly, but the rule hasn't been covered yet. But the correct way to pronounce this whole thing would be وَفُتِحَتِ السَّمَاء.
وفتحت السماء.
Very good. And we should try to prolong this for a minimum of 4 seconds. Okay.
Okay. وفتحت السماء.
Okay. So if you pause on this, it would be just okay, with a soft jerk. Okay.
Okay.
And then moving on. فكانت أبوابا.
فكانت أبوابا.
Okay, listen carefully how I pronounce the letter ba. Abwaba.
أبوابا.
Very good. So it would be pronounced with a jerk. Okay, and inshallah it will be covered in the upcoming lessons.
Okay.
Can you identify alif mad? Okay, alif of elongation.
Okay.
There are 2 examples here.
Yeah.
Yes. Can you point them out? It's okay if you can't identify them. Okay, so I'll just, yes, do you want to try?
وفتحت.
Okay, so here in the last 2 words of this verse, we have 2 examples of alif mad. Can you see them? Can you point them out?
Not really.
Okay, so that's fine. Here are the 2 examples. And do you know how to identify an alif mad? So
No.
we can, okay, so we can identify it by looking at the previous letter. Again, the previous letter should always carry the stroke of fatha. If that is the case, then we'll know that this is an alif mad. Okay, and that's why we prolong it for 2 seconds. Okay, Jazakallah, G229.
Jazakallah.
Can we have the next student?
G2150.
Assalamualaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Let's start with Tawbuz.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Okay, very good, excellent. Just one thing, remember, in A'udhu Billah, okay, don't, the word, the letter Ta, okay, it should be Shaytanir Rajim, okay, not Tua,
Okay.
okay,
Yes.
all right, can you try that again?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
Okay, much better. Okay, starting from here.
وسيرت الجبال فكانت سرابا.
Okay, so you recited really well, okay, but just make sure you prolong the alif mad. I could hear it, but just make sure that it's prolonged nicely for a good 2 seconds. Okay?
Okay.
سيرت الجبال.
سيرت الجبال فكانت سرابا.
Very good, excellent. That was perfect. Continue to the next verse.
إن جهنم كانت مرصادا.
Very good, excellent. Just the first letter. Let's stress on the nun mushaddad because it has a tashdid, right? In Jahannama.
جهنم
Very good. And can you identify the alif mad here? Alif of elongation?
Saw.
Excellent, that's right. And how do you know that?
Because there is a fatha before it.
Very good, excellent. And there's another example of alif of elongation. Can you also identify that in this word?
Oh, is it ka?
That's right, excellent. Okay, Jazakallah, G2150, you're cited really well.
Alhamdulillah. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz. Okay, so let's just make sure that everyone is back from the breakout rooms. Okay, we might be able to have one more student.
2218.
Can you say that again?
G2218.
Mine.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamualaikum.
Okay, let's start with A'udhu Billah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم للطاغين مآبا.
Very good. Let's try it once more. للطاغين.
للطاغين
مآبا.
مآبا.
Very good. Let's move on.
لابسين فيها أحقابا.
Okay, very good. So you corrected this error here. Okay, we have alif mad, so we have to prolong this for 2 seconds. Very good for that. The first word, you were prolonging here and there. So let's try this once with me. لابسين.
لابسين.
Very good. Okay, so the noon only has the short stroke of fatha, so we shouldn't prolong it for more than 1 second. Okay, and can you tell me what is this ya sakin? It is an example of?
Yahmud.
Very good. Excellent. Ya of elongation, and that is why we prolonged here for 2 seconds. Okay, and then here we also have an example of ya mad. So we have to prolong here for 2 seconds as well. Fiha.
Fiha.
Very good. Jazakallah, G2218. So I think everyone is back from the breakout room now, and I will hand over to the teacher. MT111.
Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so my PDFs are not showing on the screen. Are they showing?
No, yes, they are now.
Okay, fantastic. Okay then, so what we'll do now is, okay, so today was the first day that we've been using multiple breakout rooms, and hopefully everybody's experience was a good one, and we've come to the end of our allotted time. So I will very quickly explain to you that we did, during the course of this week, cover some letters, which were, I'll go to them, Alif, Hamza and Ha, Ain and Ha, Ghain and Ho. And we've written them down on this grid in a certain way to point out that actually the Alif and the Hamza and the Ha, they come from the bottom of the throat. The Ain and the Ha come from the middle of the throat. And the Ghain and the Ho come from the top of the throat. And it's important that you know that these letters come from the throat. And you will find that out next week, okay? Whether that's important. So these are the letters that we pronounced, we practiced during the week, okay? And they're known as letters of the throat. And this grid has been written in that way, so that's easy for you to remember: bottom of the throat, middle of the throat, top of the throat, okay? So that's how to use that particular one. Your homework will be, let me go to the top of the, okay. Over the weekend, this evening, if you've got time, please practice the chapter that we've been doing this week, verses 1 to 17. Apply the rules that we've been focusing on this week, as well as all the other rules that you know. And on Saturday, continue up to verse 33, and on Sunday to the end of the chapter. Pay close attention to the 1 second timing of short vowels, 2 second timing of long vowels, and 2 second timing of madud, which is the alif, waw, and ya mads. The PDFs that we've used, this one here, okay, you can use that. We post it on the parents group, or use your own Quran. Also, your letters. Please try to memorize the letters that come from the top of the throat this evening. Tomorrow, try and memorize the letters that come from the middle of the throat. And on Sunday, memorize the letters that come from the bottom of the throat. Okay, and this PDF will be posted on the parents group, and it has all the information that you need on it, okay? Okay, so now as we have run over our time, we will, I will read the dua, if everyone can follow at home, and then we will close the meeting for this week. Jazakumullah for your patience and understanding for our overrun, and I hope today was a good experience for everybody. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم ارحمني بالقرآن العظيم. Oh Allah, have mercy on me through the Quran, the Great. I wish you all a very good weekend. And for now, until we meet again, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.